You're listening to the In the Mix podcast with Marvin Joles. Here's your host.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of In the Mix. This one I set up a little bit ago, and it's not like St. Louis is real far away. We were kind of talking about that yesterday, that Eli and I went down for the Memorial workout, and it was closer from St. Louis to Nashville than it was from where we live in Wisconsin to St. Louis. So all this time, Will's been like, hey, come to HQ. I've been making an excuse like, yeah, it's too far. And now there's like no legitimate excuse. Literally, if I don't go, he's going to be like, dude, you're just being lazy. I didn't really realize this, but when we were at the workout, we were working out with you.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And for some reason, of course, the internet and all these platforms have a great way of listening into the world that we're in.
Yeah.
And my phone started showing me people that are associated with First Phorm.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of yours was kind of a hybrid, because what I first noticed was your post with Ben Newman. So do me a favor real quick, introduce yourself and tell us what organization you're associated with.
Yeah. So my name is Austin Monteiro, first and foremost, man. Truly grateful to be here. It's
Yeah,
a pleasure
man.
To come out here and experience everything we did last night.
Yeah,
And
Broadway.
now. Yeah. So
Pretty wild, isn't
yeah,
it?
crazy thing. I'm sure it's only crazier as the week progresses. So
Yeah, Monday
sure,
night was pretty chill.
So,
Yeah.
but it's still a cool experience. But I mean, yeah. So my name is Austin Monteiro. I'm 27 years old, and I work at First Phorm. I've been there for the better part of, going on 3 years in February. I was a Legionnaire for about a year back in 2021.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I work at First Phorm, work in the warehouse, and it's the best decision I've ever made. I love being there.
Yeah. We were talking a little bit about it yesterday. The first thing anybody notices if they get to go to First Phorm is the culture.
Yeah.
It's always a topic of conversation. I've been there now multiple times.
Yeah.
The culture is the same, if not better,
Yeah.
every time I go. And now that everybody seems to be hitting their stride there, obviously Form Energy is doing great. It seems like people that work there are enjoying the experience of working there more.
Yeah.
So the content that like all the team members are putting out
Yeah.
is fantastic, fun, enjoyable content. And then we get meaningful content and stuff as well that's coming out from there. So I can't imagine like what it's like to be in that 24/7, but that really wasn't always where you were, man. So you told me you used to live in beautiful tropical Idaho.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Austin Monteiro and Idaho and it's just like where you came from, man, and what's going on.
Yeah. So I moved to St. Louis from Idaho, and how I ended up moving there is because I have family ties there. I have an aunt and uncle that live
in St. Louis?
No,
area?
sorry, in Idaho.
Oh,
sorry,
in Idaho.
In Idaho. So I ended up moving there because back in 2020.
From where?
I moved there. I've lived. I'm kind of a nomad of sorts.
Sure.
I'm 27 years old. I think I've lived in 5, 6, 7.
You're on your third life.
Yeah. So lived in quite a few states. Moved around a lot for a variety of different reasons. Just trying to be a young kid, trying to figure out life, what he wants to do, who he wants to become.
Yeah, because you're old now.
Yeah.
27.
Yes. Yes. It's not the years; it's the mileage.
Yeah, that's right.
I got
That's true.
I got a lot on me.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, but
putting more on.
yeah, putting more on by the day.
Sure.
So, but yeah, man. So I ended up moving to Idaho after my mom had passed away back in 2020. One thing about my family as a whole, we're very big family people.
Sure.
We lean on each other every single day.
Mhm.
But especially when times get hard, when things
Sure.
come about. And thing about that situation is that I'm still young, but I was even younger back then, of course, and I had no kids, nothing really tied me down, nothing like
Still
that.
don't have kids.
I still don't have kids, nothing
Okay.
like that.
That you know of, so that's good.
That I know of.
Sure.
100%, yeah. So, but I didn't have anything holding me back from kind of going and
Experience,
because my aunt, and she's with my uncle, and their family's phenomenal, but they just don't. To be completely honest, it's just not the same thing.
Yeah,
it's
of course.
They don't know. They didn't know my mom that well, so it's hard
Sure.
for my aunt to lose her sister, just like it is for myself to lose my mom. So
Of course.
I just felt like I was in a great, quote unquote, great position to be able to go and kind of live that life with her.
Sure.
Live that kind of go through all the emotions, do everything, be that strong pillar, build back, all those different things. So kind of have that.
It's important.
Yeah.
After trauma and tragedy.
Yeah. No, it definitely was. She was a huge pillar of our family. So
Yeah.
it was, it was important for me, I felt, to kind of go and, be there, lean on her. And it was important for me to be there, but it was important for me to have her. We're very, very close. She doesn't have kids either.
Okay.
The surrounding, my uncle's family and everybody, like, you ask them, I'm kind of her son to an extent. Like, she takes very good care of me, even to this day. And so, we grew closer in that relationship. And, as that progressed, that's where I moved into, different. I've always been in, outside of First Phorm. This is the first job that I've ever worked. First Phorm's the first job I've ever worked where I've been like in an air conditioned building on a day-to-day basis.
What did you do before?
I was in construction all my life. So like, for the majority, whether it be just general labor, digging holes, digging ditches, because that's what I figured. Because like the way I grew up, which I think is a lot of people can kind of relate to, is that you grow up, especially in the school system, where it's you either go to school, you get a degree, or you go to the trades and you figure that out. Like, you're going to have to break your back to build a life, and which is phenomenal. So like, which is a great place to do things. But you as you grow, you kind of learn that there's other areas you can get into. But so I just went to do that to really support my family. Like, I was
what'd you do?
I went.
What was the company? Was it just general?
Yeah, so when I worked in Idaho, I mean, I've done a little bit of everything. But when I worked in Idaho, I worked for a company called Nucor.
Okay, what did they do?
So they're I don't want to misquote it, but I want to say they're, if not the biggest, one of the biggest steel manufacturers in North America.
Oh, okay.
Fortune 500 company. So,
whoa.
Yeah, so it's it was a very big. There's a joke out there where Nucor stands for nephews, uncles, cousins, and other relatives.
Oh yeah. Everybody's working
that
there.
tight knit.
Yeah.
And so my uncles, I don't even know if they're actually related, but everybody's got their
uncle, aunt, uncle,
their slant family members.
Sure.
Aren't actually family members, but he got me a job out there, and I ended up working out there, and I really enjoyed it.
What'd you do?
I was in what's called the melt shop. So in the melt shop, what you do is you work around 100,000 degree furnaces.
Yeah, it's like asphalt.
Yeah, so it's very, very hot. No matter what time of year it is, you got to wear the whole PP, the F1.
So literally, like, no air conditioning would have been better. Like even if you upgraded to a job where you were inside with no air conditioning, it would have felt like it.
100%. Yeah. So we did that for a while. I did that for about a year, and then
where'd you dig holes? What was that?
That was so I've dug holes. I mean, really, just at any point in my life, it felt like I always had a shovel in my hand. No matter what job I was doing. But before the Nucor gig, I worked for a fiber optic company.
Oh, heck yeah.
Laying fiber lines.
Yeah,
so
big.
That was digging trenches.
Dude, that's huge right now.
Ditch witches. Yeah, all that.
Yeah, dude, they're ditch witching everything.
Yeah.
So I got a buddy that sits on the machine that has the horizontal drill, goes underneath roads and everything.
Yeah,
and then
drill.
And then they got that mouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That goes cheep, cheep, cheep.
Yeah.
Goes through. That thing's the coolest dang thing to see it pop through some sand. You're just like, whoa, what are we doing as humans to be able to do this stuff? But yeah, that's a big, dude, it's just this thing where you get people that are like, all right, like you said, they either go get a degree and go pursue a quote unquote something professional or whatever it is, or they find their way into a trade. And you can go to college for a trade nowadays.
Yeah.
But also, if you show up and especially nowadays, if you show up every day on time with being teachable, you literally have a career for your whole entire life in the construction world.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just one of those things, and not just like making ends meet. You can like build a pretty good life still in the construction. They're paying good money nowadays, dude, for people to really show up. So that's pretty wild. So then what happens like after you're like, you're in construction and then you're living in Idaho, and then all of a sudden what happens where your focus and attention starts to shift to where you're being guided towards the heart of America underneath the arch?
Yeah, man. So really what it came down to is just getting into fitness. Growing up in high school and, grade school and all those different things, that, like most kids, I was always pretty active, played sports, was huge into baseball as, high school age came about. Like, I dabbled in the other sports, was never really good. But then as high school came about, I kind of just stuck to baseball and loved that. And then you get out of that routine, and like most people do, you start to, lose the good habits and the routine.
Yeah, you start doing the grown-up
stuff. You start doing grown-up stuff and different things. So I got into like legitimate like weightlifting and, strength training and different things. And again, most people in their journey, I had gotten to where I would work out pretty regular basis. My diet was shit. I wouldn't really track what I would eat.
Sure.
I wouldn't pay attention or whatever the case may be. But, it was in that point where I didn't know any better.
Yeah, you didn't really have to do it before.
Yeah. And something was better than nothing at
Yeah.
that. I don't really like that saying, but at that point I was doing that's I feel like that's just the path that people take.
Yeah.
Most people, they don't have every peg locked away.
Sure.
Instantly. They learn one thing at a time, just like anything in life. Learned that, and then as I was kind of working out, I didn't, because I want to point that out too, is before I started working at Nucor, I had moved to Idaho and I'd gotten a job in like the furniture restoration business with a company called Furniture Medic. It's ran by a really good.
How many careers have you had?
I know, man.
I was just joking about the 3 lifetimes.
I'm telling you, man, it's been a life, man. It's been a weird life for many different reasons.
Well, that's good.
I believe everything.
Yeah,
leads you to
this is
where you're at.
diverse. I don't know if it's weird. It's diverse.
Everything leads you where you're
That's
supposed
right.
to be. But yeah, so in that company, it was owned by a good buddy of mine named Josh Stump. Still one of the greatest people I've ever.
Wait.
Yeah.
What was the guy's name?
Josh Stump.
Stump.
Yeah. STUMPP.
So he owns a furniture store.
Yeah.
Made out of wood.
Yeah.
His last name is Stump.
Yeah. And it's funny, man. Yeah. We made all the same jokes. Yeah. So it's very, very attraction and law of attraction. And
that doesn't sound like a guy that's going to branch out very far into something else.
Yeah. So, I mean, and he's doing well with it. So, but yeah, so I started working with him because it was easy to get a job with him.
I said he's not going to branch out into something else.
Yeah. I get it now. Okay. Yeah. That's all.
If you're a subcontractor in the asphalt industry, you already know the deal. Slow pay, no communication, scopes that change, and getting squeezed on price after the job's done. Pavco National is different because they didn't start as a national company. They used to self-perform. They've been in the field. They've run crews. They dealt with the exact frustrations you deal with when working for other nationals. They built Pavco to be the company they wish they could have worked with. That means clear communication, fair contracts, and no games. They don't treat subs like placeholders. They treat them like partners because they've been on your side of the contract before. If you're ready to work with a national contractor that actually understands and respects your business, reach out to Pavco National. Email them at partners@pavco.com or call 866-PAVEMENT. Pavco National, making your life smoother.
So I'd gotten that job with him, and with me kind of working out, and, kind of going off of the First Phorm core value of leading by example.
Yeah.
And by no means was he like just 100 pounds overweight, totally out of shape. Like he just wanted to, seeing me go to the gym, he got into where he wanted to live a little bit of a healthier lifestyle. So take care of his health a little bit more. And so we kind of got to the point where we would go to the gym together. We would, one or two, 3 times a week, we'd go to the gym, and then that built into, talking about the results that we were seeing and all these different things. And then, I got into run, and then I started making this joke about how like I thought it would be funny if we were to sign up for like a 5K, because to me back then, that was 2021. To me, signing up for a race and paying money to go run was, for one, something I'd never done before, but two, was something that like super duper like Partridge Family, like the people that go to Disney World and wear the matching T-shirts and take
everybody takes pictures together.
That was like a total nerd thing to do.
Okay.
So like I thought it would just be funny to go and do that.
Yeah.
And so we made that decision to go do it. And then 2 days before, and mind you, I started getting into David Goggins. He had introduced me through this journey.
That's dangerous.
He had introduced me to David Goggins.
That's dangerous. You're about to become a beast.
So through all this, because I've always been drawn, with my family dynamic, growing up without a dad, I think that has a lot to do with the mindset that I have, because I've always been drawn to people who tell you straight how it is.
Yeah.
These types of guys, the Goggins, the Andys.
No fluff.
Yeah.
Life's not fluff.
Yeah.
For people who grow up rough, life's not fluff.
Yeah. 100%.
It's not like we have to learn that life is hard. Like you pretty much grow up knowing life is hard, and then you figure out how to make it easier on yourself.
Yeah.
Which ironically, you and I were talking about last night, means harder challenges. It literally is like the way to make life easier for yourself is to make it harder on yourself.
Yeah.
But you just can't let it beat you. You're making it harder to overcome a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I think you have to willingly because one of the greatest things anybody can do, and I believe it's because heart is relative.
Sure.
It's my heart.
Oh yeah,
my heart
we
is
say this
beating.
1,000%.
Yeah.
There's people. Nikki was in an accident this past week.
Yeah.
She was like freaking out. Now, for somebody who's never been in an accident, them spilling their morning coffee
Yeah.
might
The
have
worst thing
been
to ever happen to you is the
equivalent.
worst thing to ever happen to you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah. And if some of the hardest thing for you, somebody else has had something that's probably for you just super light,
Yeah.
but it's the hardest thing to happen
Yeah.
to them, and you both are going to be like, life sucks,
Yeah.
right? Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I think once you figure that out, you're kind of on the other side of the boat, and you're like you just said, hard is relative.
Yeah.
This is where living the 3 lifetimes by the time you're 27 starts to come in handy.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and that's why I believe everything in life that happens to you, as hard as it is to look at it, maybe in the moment,
Yeah.
is truly a blessing.
Yeah.
And it's looking at that perspective of what is this trying to teach me?
Sure.
When you're in a hard thing, when you're in a point in your life where, difficulty strikes, whether it be physical, financial, relational, whatever the case may be, it's always about not playing the poor me card and, why does this happen? But it's what is this trying to teach me and how can I utilize this thing to put me in an avenue to grow down the path.
It's happening for you, not to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that
Which is hard when it's something difficult.
yeah. And I think what helps, and it can help anybody of any age, of any gender, whatever the case may be, is because life is going to be hard at certain point. We can't avoid,
Yeah.
life changing, hard, difficulties.
Sure.
But we can put ourselves inside of hard, difficult situations. And for the most part, what I've identified, the easiest way to enter the pain cave, as I like to call it, is through physical
challenges,
hard workouts,
Yeah.
different things. It's the easiest avenue that you can.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go out and put yourself.
Just spend all your money once.
Yeah,
Just spend all your money one
know what I
time.
mean?
Yeah.
Like-
Then figure out how you're going to make
Yeah.
rent.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that route. I recommend just going and lifting some heavy weight.
So it's something that anybody can do because you putting yourself and everything comes from intention. Utilizing that intentionality of okay, I'm going to go into this workout with knowing that it's going to be difficult, knowing that it's going to be hard, but I'm going to when it sucks. I made the post kind of about this the other day with we did a workout that was, I think it was like 5-6 rounds. It was totaled 150 burpees the entire workout.
Yeah.
And it was, what is that internal dialogue that you have? Are you just sitting and this sucks, I don't want to be here? Because I think a lot of people.
I seen you all do a workout with no sound or something here a while back. I seen when it was like in the quiet.
Yeah. Because it's nice. Because
like a 6 or 8 hour workout or something like that?
Well, so when I run these races, I do it
which we haven't talked about yet.
I do it without headphones. But
yeah, you're far from a 5K now, so
yeah.
So you do it without headphones for the purpose of what?
Just because I feel like in today's world, which I am somebody, who I love. I very much enjoy social media. I enjoy listening to podcasts. I enjoy all of this stuff because and I truly believe that it can be a very fruitful thing.
It can be productive,
grow and build in your life.
Yeah.
But we're just constantly inundated with things coming at us.
Sure.
And we never, especially nowadays, more than if you go back 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
The ability to take your mind off of things. And it's okay. And it's okay to sit with things. And it's perfectly okay to think about stuff.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen.
Right.
So, you don't, I believe more there's a lot of people nowadays that truly don't know who they are,
I would say the majority of the population don't even know.
Yeah. So it's putting yourself
95% of people.
It's putting yourself in situations like that, which it doesn't have to be a 10-hour workout. Again, hard is relative. So for some people, it's walking outside without their phone.
Yeah.
For 10 minutes.
Okay. I get it.
It's seeing that, and it just teaches you a lot. You learn about who are you as a person.
One thing I've noticed, it definitely does teach you a lot because you're forced to be with yourself, be introspective.
Yeah.
Because who else are you going to talk to?
Yeah.
There's not very many people out there, and you're not just going to be blank in the mind running around, right? So I think the other thing is that it probably has. I've geeked out quite a few times about dopamine.
Yeah.
And how I believe pretty much anything we do in the world that we do with somewhat of an ambition is for a dopamine release.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, hey, I want to try to run 26 miles, when you get done, you're going to be like, yes, that's a dopamine release, right?
Yeah.
One of the craziest things I heard Huberman talk about one time was how we set the plateau for our dopamine and how it could be something as simple as listening to music.
Yeah.
Or this type of music.
Yeah.
So like during our workout, if we're listening to like Slipknot and it's like wide open and we're lifting weights and we've done 2 shots pre-workout, whatever, our dopamine level is here. And if you are going to try to increase that and be like working out and your body is already almost in peak physical condition, I have no idea what that would look like, right? But what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
So his recommendation is like regress, like listen to classical music instead.
Yeah.
And then take your earbuds out and then lay off the pre-workout for a while. And then once you like start just absolutely begrudging it,
Yeah.
put the classical earbuds back in, go until you're like, this is lame, then take a shot of pre. And then if that gets plateaued, then turn on Slipknot. And then like literally you ride yourself up and down this wave of dopamine to kind of help keep you motivated and whatnot, which is obviously way different than taking your earbuds out so you can be introspective.
Yeah.
Which is what I do quite a bit when I'm driving, especially I was telling you about today in the Nashville traffic. Dude, plenty of time if you leave everything off, plenty of time to think. I pretty much have to do that in order to not get road rage.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you have to remember.
Gotta calm down.
Yeah, you're a Zen human being. Like we don't participate in this. So back to the topic of it, you said you were talking about social media. That's where I happened to see one of your posts with Ben Newman.
Yeah.
After we were at First Phorm for the workout, I did the walking, running side kind of. Eli did the complete middle of it, and dude, he loved it because he was like with people that looked like him, was totally into what he was into on the fitness side. My part of it, I got to hang out with Andy again, which still blows my mind.
Yeah.
But that's more my side, is the entrepreneur side and everything else, which I know they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And when I seen the Ben Newman post, that's really where I was like, oh, I've seen Austin before.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I've seen him at First Phorm. And then I reached out and you were like, what the heck do you want to talk to me for? Right. And there was the Ben Newman post, because we've talked about you working out, you running, you digging ditches, doing all these things. But I think people, if they're listening in their mind, they're probably being like, oh, Austin looks like this.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
Yeah.
Before you were in here, we had one of my buddies, Jake, went to shake your hand. You're like, hey, I can't shake that hand. Like, we got to shake the other hand.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what happened and why you look different than what people would expect in their mind when you're working out or running or doing anything.
Yeah. So essentially what happened is when I was born, I essentially had a stroke within the womb. And I say essentially because what the doctor said is the symptoms that I had are most common found in victims, stroke victims. So,
Sure.
So I have a condition called left frontal cystic gliosis. I didn't get enough, which if I understand correctly, I didn't get enough water and blood to my brain. So I was born very premature, didn't fully develop. So I have a very limited mobility in the right side of my body. I don't have any flexion in my right ankle, my arms a little bit. My motor skills are a little bit off. I mean, my motor skills are literally all even connected. So like it's a different thing. So I move a little bit differently. I have a limp when I walk. I do these things, but I mean, all that to say, I wasn't supposed to walk, talk. Doctors.
Yeah, you come out.
Yeah, doctors had.
This is what we're talking about sometimes when you look at it, when somebody's like, oh, dang, that's an L.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, no, that's a W. I wasn't even supposed to walk.
Yeah.
Right. And,
And
we haven't got to it yet, but you have a huge ambition coming up in January.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that a little bit. But I think putting into perspective the challenge versus what my body is, right? I fight like heck to keep weight off.
Yeah.
My body is like, I feel like if we could see what my metabolism was, it would be a molasses tree where somebody poked a hole and that molasses is like slowly moving. So we all have challenges. I get that. But you literally are going to be trying to just slap this one right in the face.
Yeah.
Like how you were born. You're like, nah,
yeah,
we're going to go ahead and knock this one in the dirt. So before we get there, let's talk a little bit more about First Phorm.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's talk about something that makes a real difference before the job even starts.
prep work. It's the most important thing, and we all know it. The Bensink rotary broom is built with high tensile strength steel bristles, and this thing flat out works. It preps areas for seal coating and striping, helps clean up crankcase oil spills, and easily converts into crack cleaning mode. And here's the deal. It cleans where traditional sweepers can't. It makes moss removal easy, and this is one of those tools that once you have it, you can't go without it. There are two models available, the hydraulic broom, which is the most popular and spins both directions, and the mechanical version that spins one direction. One customer put it best, we've been cleaning parking lots for 23 years. We can't live without the Bensink. If you're serious about doing the job right from the start, this is one worth checking out. Head over to bensinkrotarybroom.com to learn more, and they've even got financing options available right there on the website. That's the Bensink Rotary Broom. Built for guys doing the real work. I feel super fortunate to have guys like Austin, Will, and be able to be invited to be immersed in that culture from time to time.
Yeah.
It's unmatched.
Yeah.
And I've been around a lot of companies and been a lot of places. It's unmatched at First Phorm.
Yeah.
What the heck is that all about?
If I could sum it up in my perspective and why I wanted to be there and why I enjoyed it, it's just a bunch of good people that want more out of their lives, and are willing to do what it takes to get that. And they want to help other people get that too, above all, and that's
There's such a level of respect for the place.
yeah. And I think that's just for me personally growing up.
Why is that though? Why is there such a respect for the place?
Because I think it all comes down to the little things. We have a saying, and I think it's coined. Huge Alabama football fan, Roll Tide. Nick Saban has a quote. He says, "How you do one thing is how you do everything."
Oh,
and I believe that as I've grown in my journey of becoming a better human being, because I wasn't always I'm still not the greatest human being ever, but I mean I was nowhere near. I've made strides over the years, but you learn that how you keep your car clean, and how your house looks, how your apartment looks, whatever, and it doesn't have to be this. And something that is monumental was monumental for me to understand is that you don't have to live in a $5 million home to take care of your things.
I get that I understand that it's not just the First Phorm building, right?
Yeah.
I imagine that you all have a great admiration for that place and what it's done and represents in your life.
Yeah.
But we were walking on a side street in downtown Nashville last night in Broadway, and you reached down and picked up a wrapper off the ground. That God only knows what could have been in there, right? Like, I don't know if I was like, this is the First Phorm thing or it's complete inexperience, because God only knows what could have been in there, poked you in the hand or did whatever. And you're like immediately, that was your fast twitch.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I'm grabbing that off the ground.
Yeah.
Thank God that was a street we went down, because 2 more over on like 6th or 7th Street, I would have had to leave you there picking up garbage, dude. Nashville probably would have came by and been like, give you a vest that said City of Nashville.
Yeah. And I think to kind of bounce off that point, it's understanding and truly buying into the fact of something Andy always talks about, which I've tried to beat into my brain for, the few years that I've been around the company, is everything is a withdrawal or deposit inside of your internal discipline. Walking by a piece of trash on the ground, whether it's yours or whether it's not, you didn't make the mess.
Sure.
You have the opportunity to clean it up.
Sure.
And walking past a piece of trash, wiping your toilet seat after you use the restroom.
Sure.
Little things like that.
I didn't even want to go to the bathroom at First Phorm, dude.
Look like it's never been used.
Yeah, I was like, man, I'm about to desecrate this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that did, we were fortunate enough to come there with BuildWit for a workshop. And one thing I noticed, and I've been around, we had a good group of asphalt guys go to that one. One thing I know, and I've been around these guys forever.
Yeah.
So we totally partied in Nashville and Charlotte and did all these things. Been in hotel rooms together, did all this stuff. It almost immediately shifted how they carried themselves there.
Yeah.
No one even had to say anything.
Yeah.
The culture literally was like a wave that just went and took over everybody.
Yeah.
And me on the outside, I was looking at it like, whoa, this is a huge thing. This is a big thing. And I think that people always talk about brand building, right? First Phorm has done an excellent job of selling a product and their brand and standards coming with it, right? Like when we get First Phorm energy drinks, or dude, we've been making First Phorm protein in the Ninja Creamy. Will Grumke keeps posting recipes.
He's the king of that,
dude. And now Eli's like all about it. When it was crazy, dude. When he wears First Phorm, when he's wrestling, or if he's eating First Phorm, I watch him carry himself different, which is the craziest thing, dude. It reminds me of like some iconic brands like Louis Vuitton or whatever, where people put it on, all of a sudden, dude, they feel like they're in Dubai.
$1 million.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and we're not in Dubai. We were in Cleveland, right? But it makes them feel that way.
Yeah.
What a crazy accomplishment for a brand to do, especially a product fitness lifestyle thing.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, and while we appreciate it, I think the majority of if not all of us would say, it's, well, yes, we work in the building, we do the stuff. It's the people that choose to represent the brand, that choose
That's a choice
to pay my bills, to all these different things that are doing that. It's that type of mentality and that type of intention.
Is that why you all are like so intentional towards the customers?
Well, yeah, because
dude, every time I order something, somebody gives me a handwritten note.
Yeah. Well, we understand that at the end of the day, that, I mean, without you guys, we're nothing. And like, it's not this thing where it's, First Phorm the brand, and then the people that buy our products.
Sure.
We're one community, all standing for something. And I think that to summarize that in 2 points, it's one, it's understanding that we stand for something bigger. And that's why you walk around with that. When you wear that logo on your chest, when, people recognize in the grocery store, even if nobody knows what it is that you're wearing, that's why you walk around a little bit more of a back in your step, stand a little bit straighter, is because you understand what that logo on your chest is.
It's just a crazy experience to experience that through a brand.
Yeah.
I think what we feel on the product as the customer side is that First Phorm is with us. Like, if we're buying a product, and this sounds like a huge First Phorm hype, but totally, if we weren't, and then you and I just went there and interviewed everybody and then came back, we would be having the same conversation.
Yeah.
It's like the products that get sold at First Phorm, I would imagine all of them are with the intent of going to a customer who's looking to improve their life.
Yeah.
Or maintain a high level of self-improvement in their life, right? Or pride in what they've accomplished or what they're doing. So to have a company make it feel like, hey, we're with you.
Yeah.
And not just like say, hey, we're with you. We're going to develop an app, and then we're going to give you personal accountability trainer.
To real people.
In the app. Yeah. And then you can go to First Phorm and see that person, or you can follow them on Instagram and see that person.
And it's the same person.
And it's the same person.
Yeah.
Immediately, I'm not just buying an energy drink. I'm not just buying my M Factor vitamin. I can get I could go to name X store and get any selection of vitamins.
Yeah.
But I'm not buying if M Factor's sitting there between X brand, X brand, X brand, this is not even in the same category with those, because it's so much more with it.
Before you even look at the label.
Yeah. But it's just by looking at a logo.
Nutrition facts. Yeah.
Yeah. If you know the brand, what it represents, even if the price is up a little bit or there's a little bit of difference, you're paying for so much more, or you're receiving so much more. And that's such a crazy thing, especially when, I get to be around Andy and Sal and the team, and they're just like, dude, they're dudes. My kid was at First Phorm when we all did the workout. Sal's kids were at First Phorm. Like, we're all just people.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's such a crazy thing for me to be there, see what's going on with the culture, see what goes with the brand, and realize these two dudes that played football like I played football realize something that has been a super huge key to their success.
Yeah.
And that's literally just like doing what naturally we should do as humans.
Yeah.
And be in it together.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And I mean, I think you can probably align it to any industry, any area of life, but especially in the fitness side of things. Anybody who's taken part in a fitness journey, started a fitness journey, it's just very scary. It's a very monumental at least in your
It's a life change,
it's
dude.
a big thing.
It's a life
Like
change, yeah.
it's a scary. I mean, everybody's worried about.
Everybody wants to be comfortable.
Everybody wants to be comfortable, and everybody goes to the gym worried about what everybody's scared out of their mind to go to the gym.
Yeah.
What's people going to think about them? They don't know how to use the machines. So for us, and like I said all the time to the guys that I work with is, we're not just putting protein in a box. We're giving somebody the tools that they need to not only change their own life,
giving them motivation,
but be the best dad that they can be the best mom that they can be,
self-improvement.
So it's so much more.
One of the biggest challenges in concrete work is control over quality, control over timing, and control over cost. Cementech designs and delivers volumetric concrete mixers that are some of the most accurate and technologically advanced in the industry. Their equipment gives contractors real control over schedule, budget, and concrete quality, allowing crews to mix exactly what they need when they need it, without the waste and limitations of traditional barrel mixers. I've been in the same industry circles as Cementech for years, and I've interviewed contractors who run their equipment every day. It works, it delivers. If you want to learn more or to find a dealer near you, head to cementtech.com.
If you're a dad with a goal and your family's watching you achieve a goal, you're improving your dad status.
Yeah.
Not just your fitness status, right? So I think that there's just this big connection. It always feels good to have somebody on your side, legitimately.
Yeah.
And the culture, the team, and everything there at First Phorm is just the ambition of being world class, and then watching it actually happen.
Yeah.
And it's not like when you hear Sal speak, which we have at Dirt World Summit fantastically now a couple times and back First Phorm. It's not like they don't know that First Phorm kicks ass in that category.
Yeah.
They totally do. But that's because they've been intentional about being that type of company and not just like saying, hey, we need to be this. It's literally been, we as individuals need to be these type of people, or we're not going to be the type of support or brand that actually is truthful about the products they sell. And then we've been able to see that and change in the world. And now we see, we were talking about JJ Howland.
Yeah.
Dude, totally. But to see him walk into the locker room and see his stuff and watch that have such a huge emotional effect on him.
Yeah.
For me, that has been one of the pieces of content that I've seen this year that had a huge effect on me, because I'm just like, that is the brand. That's a guy that feels like he's at home and he has support, backing, and people have witnessed what he's been through and they're super proud of him. And it's just, what a crazy feeling to have, to look at a locker full of merch and to feel like this brand gets me and is proud of me.
Yeah.
What a wild thing.
Yeah.
Today. So that ambition, that culture and everything has had a profound effect on you. And I know this because you have a huge ambition coming up. How do you describe what you do?
I run really fucking far.
Yeah.
But no, I mean the political, the legitimate term is I'm an ultra runner. And an ultra marathon is anything over the 26.
What's your if you were like, this is my main thing that I do, and this is the second thing that I do when it comes to working in the warehouse or an ultra runner, what's the one where you're like, this is who I am, this is what I do?
It's kind of a hard question to answer, man, because like I don't know what I want to define me. The biggest thing, it's kind of like we were talking.
Good answer.
Well, it's kind of like,
that's a good answer.
Well, it's because I believe that people should define themselves on things that life.
So if you don't have those two things, and I was just and if I was just like, what do you do, Austin? What would you tell me?
I work at First Phorm. But in the real world, I work at First Phorm and I run far. I run really far. But intrinsically, if we were to, which I feel like this is, if we were to have a legitimate, real conversation about it, is I want my life to be remembered. When I'm put in the ground, I want to be known as somebody who did the best they could with the time they had here.
Yeah.
And whatever that is.
That was a huge point we talked about last night.
That is, and it's being useful, and it's connecting, and it's to take this situation in this scenario in totality. It's knowing that I'm here with you right now.
Sure.
it's, that my brain isn't somewhere else. I mean, my phone's face down on the table. We're sitting here having a conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm here with you and I'm connecting with you. And I'm going to leave here and then I'm going to drive back to St. Louis, and I'm going to have another opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
It's looking at life as
living life.
yeah,
We're actually living life.
It's truly being enthralled in it at every avenue, with every single opportunity, with every single task, with every single thing that you do. And because that's going to change, like the things that you do in life, the physical things that you can touch, feel. I'm not going to be a warehouse worker at first. I'm going to be at First Phorm. God willing, I'll be at First Phorm till they die. I mean, I've literally said it in a Monday meeting before in front of Sal and Andy. Like, my hope is that I die and then you guys bury me underneath the other building, and then you guys just keep going.
That'd be a big building.
So yeah,
that'd be under the third building.
So that's what I'm saying. So like, I hope to be at First Phorm for the rest of my life, but
sure.
I might not work in the warehouse the whole time. I might.
If that happens and I'm still around and they create the Austin Monteiro workout and it's a 100-mile run, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm gonna give it an effort, and that's probably gonna be where I'm at.
Man, to that point, not to get too off the topic that we're on right now, but like, to kind of dive off that point, I'm somebody, because I am by no means the most physically talented in the room. I'm not the biggest, most jacked, not the quickest.
Yeah.
But I can always guarantee you, and I hope that one of the things that about me, character, I guess, is a big word. One of my character traits, and the things that I hope you take away,
that's the
knowing
guy.
me, is that I gave my best effort at every opportunity.
Sure.
And at certain points, that's going to be enough. At certain points, that's not going to be enough.
Did that come from the blue collar work ethic, you think, that you kind of had experience with before you got at First Phorm?
Yeah, I think so. And I think a lot of it was, and I don't know how to really say this, and it's going to come off a little bit weird, but like, it was knowing the position that I was. It was trying to not understanding that I can't outshoot my coverage all the time. And what I mean by that is that, like, I knew very early on that I was never going to be the biggest, the fastest, the quickest. So, and I accepted that. And at certain points, that's not the best.
Early on, did you accept that?
I think for a little bit I did. And especially, the 2021, 2022, which is when I really, like, I've only really been developing as a human being. I heard somebody say one time, like, they're 30 years old, but they've only been on a journey for 3 years. So they're actually only 3 to 4. Okay, you live.
We were talking about me last night, and I was like, dude, I didn't understand anything, start even comprehending anything until I was 28.
Yeah.
And then I probably didn't really grasp it until 35, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm 40 now.
Yeah.
So now I'm smart enough to know that I probably don't know what I'm talking about right now. Right. Yeah. So when I'm 45, I'm probably going to be like, dude, when you're 40, you made some dumb moves.
Yeah.
And then when I'm 50, I'm going to be like, dude, when you were 45, you thought you knew. Yeah, man, you don't know.
Yeah.
So I think that's the why. I think there's got to be a quote or a saying of like, the wise man knows he's like never done learning, right?
Yeah.
Or something.
And it's always about, to sum up that point, it's always about just doing your best. Like, I will always respect somebody because for just doing what they can, for like, and to put that in real world,
for giving it their all.
In my real world opportunity is that, like, a couple months ago in September, I ran 22 hours around HQ to raise money for veterans.
Yeah.
And it was something where a lot of people that wanted to come out were, I guess, nervous about, oh, well, I've never even run a mile before. I've never even, done this or whatever the case may be. And for me, it's not about trying to run, an entire 22-hour stint by my side. It's about, okay, so, because how this starts is just like everything in life, it's a snowball effect. You can't jump 10 stairs. You got to start.
There's no way I'm running 22 hours.
So like,
I pull a 5K out.
That's what I'm saying.
Right now, if you're like, hey, now listen though, 3-4 years ago, I couldn't pull a 5K out.
Exactly.
I'm not giving it my all. I'm improving. Now, here's the thing. I tell you I can pull a 5K, but there's a dog in there that if you were beside me, like, bro, you have to keep going. I know that I would keep going.
And that's what it's about. I mean, my biggest thing is for people, I always want people to push themselves a little bit outside their limits. Mm-hmm. If you've never...
Their mental limits.
Exactly. If you've never walked 45 minutes nonstop before, but you walked 30 minutes before, okay, we're hitting that 45 minutes today.
Sure.
If 45 minutes is cake for you, okay, we're hitting an hour.
Let's get it.
If now we've
something how that is triggering your brain though. Like if you were like, if I was like, bro, I do a 5K today and I get to 5K and you didn't say anything, I'd stop. But if you were like, that's all you got, and then all of a sudden I'd be like, and turn on a little bit more.
Yeah.
If you were there and said that to me.
Yeah. Well, it's all about your.
That's a good positive use of ego and pride.
Yeah. And
it's like one more rep in the gym.
Yeah.
You know? Eli does that to me. If I go to the gym with him, he's like, come on, Dad, one more. And I'm like, no, dude, 3 is enough.
Yeah.
2 reps is enough.
Yeah. Well, and something
most time he's like, they're only 20 pounds, Dad.
But something I've learned out of reading, have you ever read Magic Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz?
I haven't.
Phenomenal book.
What's it called?
The Magic of Thinking Big.
Oh, I've heard of the book. I haven't got
phenomenal. So it's in our library at First Phorm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the library at 1B, they I'm sure you've heard
behind the Porsche.
Yeah, behind the Porsche. It's all those books are books that have helped Sal and Andy and the leaders of that company, the Wills, the Aarons, really just grow as human beings. And the cool thing about, kind of side point with that library and those books in there, is it's not any one of those books is not how to become a better First Phorm employee.
Oh, for sure.
How to become a better
person,
human being, a better person. And the Magic Thinking Big is one of the first personal development books. I read it twice a year now. It's so impactful in my life. And
you ever read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho?
I haven't.
Yeah, that one.
Good book.
Get in there. Yeah. That's one I read it twice a year.
Yeah.
It's been pretty key for me to develop. And it's funny how that works.
Yeah.
How there's some books that just hit you, and some, like Aaron and the BuildWit team have a great library here. We have a library at Wiscote back in Wisconsin. I say library, but it's just a collection of books that are there, right? But it's just funny, like how I could read the same book and you could read the same book and you'd be like, bro, this lit me on fire. And I'm like, nah, well, yeah, it was good.
Different points in our life.
Yeah, which is funny. But then I think what you're talking about now is key. If you go back and do it again, it could mean something different to you.
Because you're in a different phase of life.
Season of your life.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the races.
For the rock, sand, and gravel producers listening, efficiency isn't just about your loaders and your crushers. It's about your data. Bulk Source is the modern operating system that connects the pit to the pavement. Stop running your business on spreadsheets and paper tickets. Bulk Source is an all-in-one cloud platform that handles everything: order management, dispatch, scale ticketing, and invoicing. Give your customers what they actually want: a customer portal where they can view tickets, track orders, and grab invoices in real time, eliminating the game of phone tag. Unlike clunky legacy systems, Bulk Source is cloud native and mobile friendly. It works on any device, iPad, phone, or desktop, and integrates seamlessly with accounting tools like QuickBooks and NetSuite. Streamline your operation, speed up cash flow, and ditch the chaos. Visit bulksource.com to book a demo today.
Because you're talking about challenging yourself, giving yourself a go, and I just heard that.
Yeah.
What a beautiful First Phorm Orange Fury.
Yes.
It's not like it's not like this is your first time trying this thing.
No.
So tell us a little bit about the race, the first attempt.
Yeah.
And then what we're going to be going with this time.
Yeah. So the race I'm doing in January 17th. So about 38 days, somewhere in there. It's called the Shippey 100-mile endurance race. It's ultra marathon, ran in High Ridge, Missouri, about 20 minutes from HQ. Yeah, so it's 100 miles, and it's in the middle of January in St. Louis, Missouri. So it's cold, it's snowy, it's rainy, it's all the elements. So the first time I did it was around the same time last year, and I went into it, and I'd say I was pretty confident. Training was fine, all these different things. Really, what it comes down to is, I believe you learn through application and experience. And I'd gotten out there, and running was fine, but I just didn't have the right equipment. Because it snowed. I want to say probably on and off 2 or 3 times.
You're running 100 miles in the winter.
Yeah. Running 100 miles is easy. Running 100 miles in the winter.
I don't know if that's easy.
I'm just kidding. I've never even crossed that distance yet.
I guess if I do a mile a day for 100 days straight, yes, you're right.
No, but the thing about it is it snowed, it had iced over. The whole course was a sheet of ice, and I didn't have the equipment that people had. I walked out there and people had all this equipment that, they got spikes for their shoes. They got this, they got that. I walked out there I had a water pack with, pockets for snacks and, gels or whatever the case may be. And I had my normal regular tread running shoes, and we were going to give it a go. And so I
In
did that.
Wisconsin, you have put stuff on your shoes called crampons.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what they were. Yeah,
If
so
you go out on the ice,
that's a legitimate term.
you got to
yeah.
have them.
Yeah. So I didn't have any of those. I made it to about 40, 45 miles, and the race director was nice enough to be like, "You don't have these." First
Did
off,
everybody have them?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I don't know if I didn't read a supplies list or something.
Sure.
Preparation was not there on my part. The race director was like,
So what did you run into? Not have
just sliding, falling. I mean, I had fallen probably at least a dozen times, slipping and sliding and hitting my back and hitting my hips and all these different things. And so the race director, to mind you, I'd crossed.
Now, it can't be super great to run on crampons either, though.
It's not super great, but I can tell you, and maybe it was just the situation that I was in. I can tell you after running 40 miles and falling a dozen times, having crampons for 10 miles felt like I was Usain Bolt out there. It was
shut the front door. It was that big of a difference.
Oh, it felt that way. Maybe if I was to go out there from mile 1
do you think part of it? So there's a lot of, listen, I'm going to pretend like I know anatomy here. There's a lot of flexor muscles.
Yeah.
That if you aren't secure, your body like tenses up and is not as fluid.
Yeah.
Because you're like bracing already or trying to balance. Yeah. Did that go away with them crampons on and you were like?
I felt like I said, and maybe it was an illusion to my brain. I felt like I could run for another.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, I mean, it felt.
So how far did you make it the first try last year?
I made it 50 miles. So I made it.
You got made halfway.
Yeah.
At a huge disadvantage. And then already your body functions different probably than most of the people who are running it. And we're going to go for it again this year.
Yeah.
Has the training itself been any different? Because, I mean, has your personal abilities improved since then as well? Have you had something you've been tracking at all to know?
When it comes down to it, and I mean, people are going to tell you different. I'm not a professional at this at all.
Yeah. Until you're done with this one.
I'm just a guy that
you make it this one. They're going to be like, yeah, he's good. Dude, I'm just completely joking. 50 miles, I would have never been able to do.
Right.
I say that, but do you believe I could do 50 miles?
I believe anybody can do. And I mean, people are going to, I believe belief in yourself. And I mean, and I'm not talking about a frill, like we're two guys at the bar and I'm going to tell you that I believe in myself and I'm going to go out there. And
I think I could do it.
I'm thinking like, I'm talking a deep in your stomach belief in yourself. You can accomplish anything, You
know why I think I can do it?
Yeah.
Because of what Goggins did his first times. I'm going to be in just as bad a shape as Goggins before he was even prepared and knew what he was doing. My hips are going to be killing me. My feet are going to be obliterated.
Yeah.
But I want to believe I have that type of mental strength. I've never tried anything like that to put myself through that type of mental strength. Now, life itself has thrown quite a few stuff that's been really tough mentally, but never self-inflicted to that type of level. But here's the thing. The only reason I know and I think that I could do it is what I was talking about earlier. If you were beside me and you were like, hey, bitch, you said you were going to do more than this. You got to do more. That it would push me farther than what I would push myself.
And to that point, something I've really focused on this year intentionally and specifically is physical training is obviously phenomenal. You need to physically train for whatever event. Well, this is monkey. This is do what I say, not as I do, because I definitely went out and, I ran my first half marathon on 2 days notice, never running 6 miles, but like definitely train for what you do. But I believe personally that more or less if we were to put it to a ratio basis, it would be 60-40 mental over physical.
What made you stop the first time? Like, really, what was it where you were just like, I cannot go?
If I had to say, which I mean, it's not necessarily a proud thing, but it's not a proud thing for me to admit, but it was more or less knowing that because you have a time cap for these things, like they're not.
Yeah. For sure. They're
not going to let you. They're not going to let you just run till you finish 100 miles.
Sure.
It was more or less being where I was at. I don't exactly remember, but I think I had like 8 or 9 hours to cover 50 miles.
Yeah,
and I had it was kind of, which sucks when there's a hit to an ego.
But were you like, I'm going to conserve some of my body rather than go when I know I'm not going to make it?
I think it was a little bit of that, and I mean something I've tried to look at as well, which I'm still. It's a thought I battle. I'm sure everybody does. I battle with thoughts all the time. Is it?
I don't think everybody does. Trust me, dude. I was in Nashville traffic this morning. There's people who are not battling with any type of thoughts at all.
But it's one of those things where
they're just going.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, is it the right thought to have? Is it not the
You're putting it into perspective at First Phorm. Yeah. Like, everybody battles something. Right. It's like, no, you're talking about HQ. Like, yes, everybody in there is challenging and doing something with themselves.
Because in Goggins' second book, Never Finished, he talks about, I think it's his second book, but he talks about understanding, is this something that I should push myself to the brink of? Like, what is the risk reward? Like, if I was to push myself to the brink of hurting my body and, being laid up for months on months or whatever the case may be, is if I was to get 80, 90 miles, what is the reward from that?
Yeah.
So you got to weigh that.
Are you putting yourself out of something that you could do?
Yeah.
After this, if you put yourself to the brink.
Who knows? Because who knows if I would have taken, okay, like I'm not going to finish 100 miles, but I'm going to get to 80 miles. And am I sitting here physically capable to now go do the race?
Or if you wanted to do something, April.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, Eli and I talked about this the other day. Somebody on his wrestling team had an injury, and it wasn't the kid's fault, and he wasn't like pushing himself far enough that it gave him an injury. But Eli has huge wrestling ambitions this year, and he has big ambitions in the combat world overall.
Yeah.
He's already suffered a major break in his arm that he came back from. But we were talking about it, and I was like, sometimes you're down 12-0 in a wrestling match, and somebody's trying to pin you, and you're fighting back against it. You can put yourself in a situation to get hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with thinking about next weekend's tournament when that is happening.
Yeah.
Because if you overcommit to this second to hold on to something that keeps you from achieving the long-term goal, that to me, that's not the wise move.
Yeah.
So I've told Eli, and he doesn't ever want the feeling of I gave up on this.
Yeah.
Now, if we weren't thinking about the future and preparing, that would be the case if he was like, hey, I'm just going to let this guy pin me. But that's not the case. We're thinking about the future.
Yeah.
And being able to achieve this larger term goal. So we've talked about it before. I'm like, dude, if you get in a situation, even at any of these tournaments or duels or whatever, he needs to be able to wrestle the regionals and sectionals to get to state. Like, you have to do that.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you have to win this duel. You don't have to win this tournament to do it. You don't have to do any of that. You have to win this to get there.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that we get you here.
Yeah.
So if you're in a tight spot and it's looking like it's going to hurt, could be sketchy, just let them do whatever they're going to do so that we can get to the next spot, right? You've been trained too hard. So I feel like that when you talk about, is me running 50 miles, getting to 70 really going to help me achieve anything further than this? Or is it going to be a detriment to an opportunity that I might have in the future coming up?
It's a weird dichotomy because it's hard to...
Your pride is in the way there too, dude. Like as a man, your pride gets in the way there. When you're investing in asphalt equipment, trust matters. KM International designs and builds seal coat units, infrared heaters, asphalt hot boxes, and other asphalt maintenance equipment for contractors, municipalities, and professionals across the industry. We run KM seal coat units because they're built tough, they perform in the field, and we trust the people behind the brand. Another big reason we stand behind KM, their equipment is made right here in the USA. Their mission says it best, innovative asphalt maintenance solutions. To learn more, visit kminternational.com, call 810-688-1234, or email sales@kminternational.com. I was asking you the question of like the last race to this race, has your body improved, your physical improvements or whatnot?
Yeah.
One thing that we can always be improving is our mindset shift.
Yeah.
Has there been any changes in that area? Have you been working on that?
Yeah.
Since you literally work for a guy that wrote the book on building a tough mindset.
Yeah.
Right. So what's that been like since the last race to this?
Kind of like what I was saying earlier. Like when it comes to the ratio factor of what I believe physical versus mental training, I believe your mental
your mental game and, training your mind to be physically tough or mentally tough, is, the main key. And that's your
the main thing.
The main thing. That's your navigational system. That is going, because your brain, because your capacity is a state of mind, and that's what I took away from that Magic Thinking Big book, is that you're truly capable. I think it's the Henry Ford quote. If the man who thinks he can or cannot is correct. So like, you first and foremost, you have to believe that you can actually accomplish and achieve something, and when you lock that in and you start to work on that, like I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was literally a thought that I had in my head. I spoke out loud. I batted it around a little bit, when I ran 50 miles around HQ 2 or 3 weeks ago.
That was what I was going to ask you, is how do you train for a 100-mile race?
Physically or mentally?
I would say both,
Yeah.
but it's not like you can go out and run 100 miles today.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not like, hey, I want to get to where I can bench 325 pounds.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work my way up there little by little every day.
Yeah.
Because whether you start out benching 200 and then you get to 325, the amount of time it takes is the same.
Yeah.
The weight has increased. But when it comes to running 100 miles, yes, you can shorten that time some, but it's still not a time that you're going to get to within one day.
Yeah.
So how the heck do you train for a 100-mile race?
And again, not a professional. Some people may say differently with physical training. I choose to believe that there's always going to be a little bit that you just...
How much do you run each day?
So
I'm going to keep cutting you off.
Yeah, no, you're good. At peak, I'll be at, like...
I mean, no. I mean, like, for the race.
How much do you...
How is it cut up?
Oh, no. So, I mean, yeah. So, like, with the one I'm going into right now, it's 34-hour time cap. So, you have 34 hours to complete 100
You have 34 hours to complete 100 miles.
Yeah. Through elevation, gain and loss, and all these different things. So,
will you run that straight, or are you going to get it cut up? Like, how does that work?
Well, you stop at aid stations. So, you have about...
and take a nap?
I mean, not during the 100-mile race. That's kind of so everything, there's levels to everything. There's levels to the 5K. There's, it's 5K, half marathon, or 5K, 10K, half marathon, and so on and so forth. So, like, you don't really get into, like, where you're sitting and sleeping. I mean, you can, depending on, because each race is going to be different. Because, like, there's some 100-mile races out there where you have a 50-hour time cap.
Yeah, some people are running through Grand Canyon.
So you can. So at certain points, you can sit and take a nap in a 100-mile race. I would say for the majority of people that, the influencers that I've seen on social media, most people would say that during a 100-mile race,
you don't do that.
You're not. Yeah, you're just. That's kind of the Killian Course. He's one of the newly guys that we're working with at 1P. He is the Triple Crown champion of the 200-mile races. So he's placed first place in the Tahoe 200, which is a 200-mile race out in Tahoe, California. And then he's ran the Moab 240.
Yeah.
He's won that. And then there's, I think it's the Bigfoot 200.
Yeah.
And I can't remember
where he placed in that one.
Yeah. So, but anyway, he placed first. I don't know where it's ran. So he won all 3 of those races in a single year. And asking him, what is the biggest difference between a 200-mile race and a 100-mile race? It's sleep deprivation. Because
once you get to that point,
you can, because and I agree with him, just with the races that haven't crossed 100 miles yet, but just you can push your body through sleep and through being tired for a day. You can. We've all pulled an all-nighter. Mm-hmm. We've all done.
Things start to get squirrely.
Yeah, but they do. But I mean, you can still do it. And at that 100-mile point, physically, me speaking, I believe that there's always going to be a little bit, and that's the fun in it. Like.
Dude, I'm going to sound like such a bitch to Nikki after this podcast, because I'll get like 6 hours and I know I whine.
Yeah.
Like I need 7 hours of sleep, Nikki.
Yeah. No, and it's a thing, man. But I mean, it's one of those things where it's really just about physically with the training. I believe that there's always going to be a point where you don't scratch it. Like there's going to be a point where my training, I have not reached this point yet. Because at a certain, everything's going to blow up. My legs are going to be so totally gassed. I'm going to be so tired. I'm going to be pissed off.
What hurts first?
I don't want to be. For me personally, it's my hip flexors and my quads. I don't know what that is, I mean, obviously you can, there's exercises that you can do to
It
strengthen
could
those
just be a
things.
gait. Some of your gait,
Yeah.
maybe too.
I mean, yeah, because I walk a little bit uneven. So like
Yeah.
it's one of those things. But really what it comes down to is, and that's, I believe that's what you do it for. I can't remember. I think it was Chad Wright who I heard say on a podcast once that like most people, they don't understand that in whatever race I'm doing, like I always talk about, like, take the 22-hour run, for instance, which is no defined distance. It's just purely moving for 22 hours. I can't speed up or slow down 20 hours.
Mhm.
So for me, I have to get through 20 hours and I have to endure 20 hours of moving to get to the 2 hours that is actually helping me grow as a human being, helping me process.
Okay.
I want to get to that point
Mhm.
in whatever race that I'm doing
Mhm.
of I've never been here before. This is because that's where, I mean, stretching your capacity, that's what helps you truly grow as a human being. You know,
What's it feel like when you do that?
it's a powerful thing because you get to this point where it's unrecognizable to you. You're uncomfortable, but and if you do it correctly, you slow yourself down, you take a breath, you recenter a little bit, and you just take it. You just chop. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So it's just knocking it down, single piece, and doing it. And that's how you build confidence. And
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite quotes ever. Is I'm going to credit to Alex Hormozy. Is you don't build confidence by shouting affirmations at yourself in the mirror. You build confidence by having an undeniable stack of
Evidence.
accomplishments that
Yeah,
and evidence
evident.
that prove to yourself that you are who you say that you are. And it's
Yeah.
through that, like somebody who's ran
It's walking the
105K.
walk.
Yeah, somebody who's ran 105Ks,
Mhm.
running their 101st 5K is
Mhm.
not going to, and they may pat themselves on the back, but truly building confidence that they can take into their day-to-day lives
Yeah.
isn't going to be. It's going to be few and far between.
Yeah. One of the craziest things is we did. It's called the Mutt Run, I'm gonna butcher this, dude. It's called the Mutt Run or something like that in Louisville. And Nikki and I were gonna do it last year at Equip, and I think we stayed out too late or something. And we're like, nah, we're not doing it. And then this year we signed up for it again. And same thing, you got to pay to go. You get a T-shirt, whatever. You pay to run. It was like that joke, like you were talking about at the beginning. But this year we ran it, and Nikki was so dang proud, bro.
Yeah.
Like crazy that we completed it, and we got the medal and she's like, we need to take a picture here. We got to take a picture. The next day,
It's awesome.
dude, the next day she was like, my hips hurt so bad. And I was like, yeah, that's because we don't do this regularly. But she totally signed up for it and did it. And we did it together. And I was like, that was my second time doing it. And I just was like incredibly proud of her. And she was of herself as well. And I'm like, well, maybe that gives us some belief, because the next month she had to host the Dirt World Summit where we got to see the guys from HQ and whatnot. But to have confidence in that, I've watched her confidence improve.
Yeah.
We're doing things that improve her confidence. We were on podcasts there.
Yeah.
She was on podcast with me on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I watch her speak more, be more confident in what she's doing, speaking. So it's growing these things and improving her. Yeah. Improving what she does. And it's an incredible thing to see, but it's also cool because that feeling.
Yeah.
And you see it in somebody else, and that's contagious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's contagious.
It's cool. And it's so awesome to see because people, one of the things I've a thought that I had a couple weeks ago that I've really kind of locked in and I have full belief in now is I think the reason that people I made an Instagram caption about it, and the first line of the caption was, "Don't be too caught up in your own self-pity that you forget to build confidence."
Sure.
And what I mean by that is we go through hard things every day, as humans, and some people, and for some people the hard thing is different. For some people, the hard is financial struggles, trying to figure out how to put food on the table for their families, whatever the case may be. And while I don't want to act like I'm sitting here in my ivory tower and all these different things, I think what happens a lot of the times is when people are in that situation, they are too caught up in like, why is this happening to me? This sucks. I hate this. Why do I have to be in this situation? And they forget that they're going through that. It's the old saying of you've survived you've survived every hard day that you've ever been through.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
How often do you think about, like with your day to day, how often do you think about how you were born?
Oh, every day. every day.
How often through that day do you think about it?
I mean, it's anytime that something hard comes up, anything. Well, and it's anytime that, anytime that I get to, because
How,
I truly believe that I wasn't supposed to be here. Like,
sure.
and I mean that,
Sure.
wholeheartedly, as much as I possibly can. So like anytime that I get to have an experience like this,
Mhm.
anytime that I get to, I mean,
Okay.
as simple as waking up in the morning, and like
I didn't
every day is
I
a
didn't
different
define the
opportunity.
question correctly. How often do you think of it and you're like, "Oh, crap."
Oh, from a negative aspect, you mean?
Yeah.
Not really. There is times. I mean, I'm not perfect by any means, but
Well, how often do you look at it and be like, "This is cool."
I think more or less now I understand that it's because of the way that I'm made up as a human being
Yeah.
that this is the opposite. Like, it's because of the way that I'm made up as a human being that I get this opportunity to do these things. And because
That's a cool perspective, bro.
because I don't believe that if I was a fully functioning, 100% physically capable person,
Yeah.
would I have this drive that I have? Would I have this want and this fire and this
Yeah.
desire to run 100 miles,
Yeah.
to do all these things? But it's because it's kind of that situation of, I don't have kids, but I mean, you do. Like, you tell your kids not to do something. What's the first thing they want to do? They want to do it.
Yeah.
So you don't touch that thing. They want to touch it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's kind of that thing of running 100 miles or moving at any capacity should be out of the question for me. Okay, so
That's
that kind of
badass.
triggers that in my brain of like, let's scratch that a little bit. Let's see. You want to tell me no? Okay, I want to touch that stove. I want to see where it's at. So it's,
Yeah.
I don't really think about it from a negative connotation because I mean, the struggles in life in any area of life are what builds you as a human being.
Sure.
Anything you go through. So I don't know. And I truly believe that God has given me a purpose
You got some ambition.
He's laid that in my heart, and
Yeah.
it's something where I was made this way to show other people what they're capable of. If this is a key element. My disability, my handicap is a key.
I love that you
element.
air quoted that.
You know what I mean? And like, because anything, and that's,
Yeah.
I
used to think that same. So you asked me, why did you, how do you pick who you want on here and why? Right? All that. You asked me that. I've came to that realization with where I was born, who I was born to, how I was born, what I had to go through to get out of it. There was a moment, there were years where I was like, why me, God?
Yeah.
And now on the backside, if I would have been any different, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't have had that ambition to create what I'm creating now, or have you here, or even be at HQ when I'm there, or whatever. If I would have been any different, if I'd have been given these things, I wouldn't have had any ambition to build what I built. Right. So it's just a crazy thing. And I think that I realized through your content, what I had realized. And that was the fact that you had come to the same realization that I did about what our handicaps were.
Yeah.
That actually being born with a silver spoon or the ivory tower, like you said, or being born fully functional can be a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Completely. I've seen people say trust fund babies or whatever. Dude, they can barely function in life.
Yeah.
With zero ambition. They question why they exist. Not all of them, but they question why they exist a lot.
Yeah.
I don't really have a question of why I exist.
Yeah.
Like, I've kind of figured it out for the most part. Sometimes this industry gives us more than a paycheck. It gives us the chance to give back. Dream On 3 creates custom sports dreams for children living with life-altering medical conditions. Moments that give families hope, joy, and memories that last a lifetime. This isn't about attention or headlines. It's about showing up for kids and families during some of the hardest moments of their lives. We believe in the mission of Dream On 3, and we're proud to support and help raise awareness for the work they're doing. To learn more, visit dreamon3.org and follow them on Instagram at dream_on_3. What are some non-negotiables? Do you have any that are just non-negotiables?
Oh, yeah.
This has to get done daily or whatever.
Working out, moving in some capacity. The earlier that you can do that, the better, I believe. Just because I'm the day's going to pull you in many different directions. You can
check that off the list.
So get it done. Pay yourself first.
How important is a morning routine?
Pretty important. I'm a huge believer in routine, but I think that it can become something that you can't be fully.
Dude, I hate my brother Will's morning routine post on his Instagram story. That guy does more before he leaves the house than what I feel like I do all day.
He does, but it's kind of something where I think I learned it from him, taking it from him.
I'd like to tie him to a chair one day and just be like, dude, you don't get to do anything today. He'd just be like, oh, you're dead when I'm
He's somebody that he talks a lot about not being married to things. Like, he's very somebody who's regimented, obviously.
But he cuts loose too.
Yeah, but he's also somebody that like, hey, I like to read in the morning, first thing when I wake up.
Yeah.
But if I have to read right before I go to bed, not a big deal. Like, we'll get it done. It's all about just
check it out. Check it off before you close your eyes.
Most of it is it's doing it with the right intention and doing the task.
I asked you when we went to go out last night to eat, I was like, what can you eat? What can't you eat? Like, I wanted to be very respectful of your training up to this. And you're like, bro, I pound Sour Patch Kids by the handful, So, and I was like, well, what about like this or that, pizza, whatever we're going to eat? And you're like, yeah, whatever. What is the nutrition principles like kind of that you have right now?
Right now, it's like I'm pretty locked. Like I'm pretty disciplined, I guess I should say, to my main meals. Like, whether it be, but I also understand that, and I may lean on the fact a little bit that I'm young and, I can get away with a few things, but when I have the opportunity to, go out and share a meal with a friend or, do something like that, I understand that it's not going to kill me.
Yeah.
I understand that, I'm going to, I'm putting in the training and the work it's not going to fully detriment me. Now, if I was somebody who...
What about additional though? Like, what about like, are you supplementing?
Yeah. So, I mean, I take
vitamins.
Yeah. Vitamins, microfactor.
Dude, the biggest education I got from Austin Davis.
Yeah.
Is the amount that our food pretty much that we consume regularly is lacking in nutrition.
Yeah.
Because we have to make so much of it.
Yeah.
So fast that the nutrition is just not what it used to be. And we have to figure out how to get all of our vitamins and minerals and everything so that we can process what we do get.
Yeah.
Really good. It made me think less about my body as just like this thing that just is consuming as like, this is a machine.
Yeah.
Like,
your body,
like Marvin, are you not going to change the oil on your trucks? Are you not going to put new tires on? If you hear a squeak, are you not going to investigate what the heck the squeak is?
Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, I better figure this out. And dude, I've been going back through some of my old photos and videos on my phone and whatnot and looking at, they have my old body in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a great piece of content, but it's super embarrassing to me that I'm not, and it's not just because my body's big. No one would really care, but it's embarrassing to me because I felt like I neglected something that's so simple.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Well, it comes down to understanding what you know internally. And that's what I love about running so much. And I mean, you'll hear Will talk about this a lot too, and that's where we've kind of connected in a sense, is when it comes to running specifically, that is a sport where really nobody knows your full output other than you.
Sure.
Like that is like, nobody knows how hard you're pushing. Nobody knows if you're at, if you're giving all you got or you're giving 60%.
Sure.
For me and for you, like, we all know our internal standard. I know where I can be.
You don't know. Yeah. You know, if you're giving it your all, you're not giving it.
That's something it's a silent thing most of the time, in case unless you choose to share that to an extent. But I think that's where that comes from, is we know what we're capable of. We know, and it's, we all got a conscience. We all got two people playing games on our shoulders each and every day.
Oh yeah, man.
That bitch voice and that boss.
Yeah, dude. You make choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was like last night when we were ordering food.
Yeah.
Shout out Martin's Barbecue. It was fantastic again down here. But we got looking at the sides.
Yeah.
And I was like, and what's funny is like you and I, our bodies function differently. You're going to burn through whatever you eat, right? So I was like, dude, I better get green beans. That way I'm not putting stuff on. And you're like, I need more than green beans because I'm going to be working my ass off, right? So we look at these sides and I'm like, okay, I better choose some things that are slow digesting carbs, not too calorie dense.
Yeah.
And then I'll just enjoy the spare ribs I got, which were freaking massive, by the way. But I totally wanted the mac and cheese and the cornbread, bro.
Yeah.
Or I guess they call it hoe cake there at Martin's. But
Yeah.
I wanted that.
Yeah.
And I could have.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
Nobody else would have known.
Yeah.
I would have known.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing, man. And I think that's hopefully somebody that's listening to this that maybe goes through the same type of situation, is that like there's a sense of you should be proud of yourself, that people should be when they choose to make that decision. Because it's like we were talking about yesterday, like the cool thing about going on a journey, being intentional with it, 75 hard, is an awesome tool to really hone in on teaching you that.
Sure.
Is that you understand after going through something like that, like it's a choice. Like when back a few years ago, when it was, a couple beers at dinner time, or if it was a meal that maybe wasn't terrible but could be better, I had to eat that. Like it was like a pull on me to. Now, if I go out and if I have a couple beers, or if I go out and I eat a little bit off plan, or whatever the case may be, I fully know that like I'm making that choice.
Yeah.
Like I could as easily as I chose to do it, I'm choosing not to do it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think there's this thing, right, where our society has been like, man, you're in New Orleans, you gotta eat boudin. Like, you have to. You know what I mean? You're in Nashville, we gotta get hot chicken.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't have to. Actually, I don't have to.
Yeah.
And there's been times when I've been on 75 hard, and it's been during conference season. And at conference season, one of the big things is the networking after parties.
Yeah.
And we were talking about drinking, like, what was the phrase we used? Like, if you drink.
Social drinking.
Yeah, social drinking.
Yeah.
And how it's like, you have to.
Yeah.
And I've argued that with Nikki before when we've been on 75 hard. We did it this summer. I think we did 75 like medium. So if I'm going to be honest with you, but there'd be times where it's like, yeah, I would rather just eliminate myself from that atmosphere.
Yeah.
Than go there and have to be like, you have to do this. Like, making a choice to eliminate myself from that atmosphere.
Yeah.
Was way easier than me trying to eliminate the choice when I'm in it.
Yeah.
So I think there's also
environment.
that big perspective of like, when you make the choice, knowing that I put myself in that environment is going to be way harder, I can make the choice to not do that, to put myself in there. So I think it's a habit that, there's habits you can add and habits you can cut.
Yeah.
That will make that happen. And I'm pretty proud of that. What about you? What are you most proud of? If you had to be like, of all the things, what are you most proud of?
I like knowing that I'm making an impact. I like knowing that, for the most part, I could honestly say that when people have an interaction with me, when people see my posts on social media, whatever the case may be, like they're inspired, they're impacted. It's a positive thing in my life, to whatever extent, means something, and I'm helping other people in whatever form or fashion. Some people,
I think you're succeeding at that.
and that's truly like I kind of told you, and like I kind of told you last night. Like,
do you think you're succeeding in that?
I do.
That's good.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just all about being useful.
That's okay to say that.
And I think it's all about.
I think we're all right with saying that.
I think it's being useful. And
I'll tell you a little thing. A lot of people have. So I've been posting consistently for a decade or better, for sure, more than a decade now, probably. And people have witnessed Eli from 3 years old to 14 years old now. So they've seen him progress all the way through. And I get a lot of comments about mine and Eli's relationship.
Yeah.
I think we were in line last night, and I was like, dude, or no, we were at the candy store.
Yeah.
Here on Broadway. And I was like, I sent him a picture of Pollos Hermanos from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
He loves that show. But I sent a picture of like the soda from there. And I was like, that's my best dude. That's my best friend, bro.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of comments on that. And I think, and I get a lot of positive comments were like, man, you're doing it just right. You're raising that boy just right. Like, you're such a good dad. You're taking care of him. You're instilling in him the right things, doing that. And I think that people have a false view of that I'm intentionally doing that. I'm going to circle this back to like what you're most proud of, because what I'm most proud of is at one point in my life, I was a kid that was super self-conscious, an introvert, super scared of what people thought of him. Had a realization that he was poor. It was a tough go. His skin was dark. His last name was different than everybody else's. And that kid wanted somebody to take care of him and change those things.
Yeah.
That person did not show up until I was 28, and it was me.
Yeah.
I literally, that was the point where I realized there's a quote. You've quoted a lot of times this time. I've been slacking, but there's one that no one's coming to save you. Get up.
Yeah.
And I started that process without realizing that was the quote at 33 when I started going through my divorce from my first wife. And then Eli was involved in that. And my daughter Elizabeth was involved in that. And my ex-wife, who I have a good relationship with, yet no one was coming to save me. I had to get up. There's still, I think what the reason though I'm so great with Eli is I'm trying to take care of that kid still.
Yeah.
Like me.
Yeah.
Right. I'm still like, I got you.
Yeah.
I've created this thing. You're safe here. It's
Yeah.
all good. We're succeeding. I've helped you succeed, quote unquote, succeed.
Yeah.
And it's all good.
Yeah.
I don't really put a lot of effort into being Eli's good dad. I put more effort into being the type of person that can take care of that young kid that was me.
Yeah.
So the byproduct is Eli's been able to get that version of me.
Yeah.
And there's been times where I've been able to choose to not be that version of me. And the way that he looks at me, it is killer. It literally will just make me feel like less than anything. I made a post. Nikki and I went out to dinner the other night, and she has this thing called Eat Drink Y'all. It's an Instagram profile at Eat Drink Y'all. And she loves going here to Nashville, going out to eat, taking pictures of the food, talking about it because she loves eating. She just loves intricate cuisine and just really good stuff when it comes to that capacity. And there was a chocolate cream pie. And I had told Eli a week earlier, because he's been having to lock in for weight cut. And I'm like, dude, I'll lock in with you. I'm with you on this. Well, I posted a picture of that cream pie saying, this is what happens when you go out with at Drink Eat Y'all. And he's literally only sent me a text and said, locked in, huh? And dude, I felt this big. Like I didn't eat that thing.
Yeah.
Right. But it made me.
He held me accountable, man.
He did, dude.
Yeah.
And I felt like that big. And luckily, like since Thanksgiving, I'm down some LBs too. He had to be, that kid slacked, and he tried to cut 10 pounds in 2 days for
rough.
Yeah. And he's 138 with 5% body fat.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of weight to get lost there. But it made me feel like that and feel that big. And he said that, but honestly, the little version of me would have said that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it held me accountable and
I
helped me
think
be those things.
You saying that, man, that's something I'm trying to, a thought that I'm continually trying to put into my brainwaves on a continuous basis. There's so many different success habits to build and philosophies to put into place and different things. Something I always say is, at my core, I'm a dumb human being.
Sure, dude. I say that all the time. I'm Neanderthal.
So
bro.
I need simple. I can't follow 20-step plans to success. I need simple,
give me a quote.
Yeah, I need simple 1, 2.
Yeah.
This is how you align yourself. And maybe while we won't be able to hit everything, something I always talk about is be the person that you needed in that in that time in your life. And I think whether it's be the dad that you wish you would have had, be the leader you wish you would have had.
Sure.
I mean, that's what I tell when I'm talking to the guys at work. And while I'm by no means a leader by title, I believe everybody's a leader. Everybody always looks to you, and leadership is not a title. Leadership is a personality. It's an identity that you choose to take on. So be the leader that you used to have. Be the dad that you wish you would have had. All those different things. If you do that, if you be that person that you wish you could have had in your life at every opportunity, I think that you can live a pretty good life. You can make pretty good impacts.
I used to be 300 pounds, 297 to be exact. And if you're around me at asphalt or construction expos or in my circle, you remember that Marvin. I'm not him anymore. I've all but eliminated the choices that got me there in the first place. And I'm down about 100 pounds over the last few years, all from making better choices. I know it's hard in our industry to find time and that those gas station stops are way too convenient,
But we in our industry aren't getting enough of what we need to live healthy and stay productive, with those choices being our constant. Besides prepping my own food, I choose foods and supplements from First Phorm to help me get to where I need to be, along with a regular exercise routine. You've seen my posts over the last few years about using First Phorm's products to get what I need into my body on the road and keeping out excess of what I don't need or want. I use at least one First Phorm product every day to ensure I stay on track. I've worked way too hard to let this slip. If you use the link in the episode description, you'll get free shipping on orders over $75 from First Phorm today. If you reach out to me personally via DM or email, I would love to tell you about what I use and my experiences using First Phorm's products. Are you disciplined?
I would say so.
When did you come to the realization of I'm disciplined?
After 75. I mean, David Goggins had a...
When was that?
That was 2022, 2021.
Okay, so what was the deal? Did you just weren't disciplined, or you flipped a switch and said, I'm going to be disciplined? Like, I want to know. I asked this question because is discipline our atmosphere? Is it something we turn on? Is it something you're born with?
Oh no, discipline is a skill that you build every single day of your life. It can flee from you, it can grow, but it's something that you have to.
Is it like lifting weights?
Oh yeah, I mean, and you have a discipline. You have an opportunity to build discipline.
If you exercise it, it builds.
It's like for instance, like, I mean, getting coffee this morning. That's an opportunity to not be disciplined. To like, I could, because you can walk in.
We have a lot of caffeine going on. Me and you both are like, dude, we got a lot of caffeine.
But you can walk in. I could walk into a coffee shop and I could get the I don't even know. I don't drink.
I will. You want me to say it?
What?
The brown sugar latte with extra whipped cream and sprinkles on top.
Yeah.
Or I can just get a black coffee.
So like, there's opportunities to exercise it every single day. And for me, kind of where my journey all started. I mean, we're coming full circle here, but like, for me, what it was.
That's what a good podcast host does, bud.
For me, what it was is, yeah, you've been doing this, but for me, what it was is, I remember exactly where I was. Don't remember exact time of year or day or whatever the case may be.
Sure.
I was in the sauna of Gold's Gym, listening to, like I said, my buddy Josh got me onto David Goggins. I was listening to his first book, Can't Hurt Me.
Sure.
And not knowing very much about Goggins, my buddy just telling me that he is somebody who's going to give it to you straight, shoot you where it's at, all this good stuff. Was listening to that book, listen to everything he's gone through, all of, the things with his dad, growing up the way he did, all these. And it was for something like me specifically, like, there's a part in his book, not to give any spoilers to anybody, but where he runs on.
Dude, if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't read it yet.
Phenomenal book. Definitely recommend. I've read that book and I've listened to the audiobook more than any book I've ever partake in. But he talks about how he runs on broken legs in SEAL training. And for me, I don't know what it was, but it was just something like, okay, if that man can do all of the things that he's done and overcome all of the things that he can, like, what can I accomplish? Who am I to say?
Why can't you?
Yeah, why can't I do this? So that's kind of where it all started.
What a scary thing to think like what a scary concept to think. Life has been hard. I was dealt a raw deal. And now I have a realization. What a scary realization to be like, I'm the one holding me back.
But it is a scary thing, but
if you can conquer it,
it's a powerful,
right. It's a freeing thing. You're like, oh, that's all it was.
Yeah.
I had a mental grip on myself.
Well, because for me, like I said, again, simple guy, I need simple concepts, like, to give power, which is what you're doing. You know? And that's another power. I keep saying the word powerful, but that's another very impactful thing. When you're able to, when you look at it from a perspective of, you're not just you're giving power, which as men,
no, that you're giving knowledge
too. You're giving power to other people. It's crazy that you give power to
share knowledge.
You give power to other people. You give power to the guy that cuts you off in traffic.
Yeah.
To give away that power that you have as a human being, not just as a man, but as a person in general, to take that back as yourself, it just it washes everything away. It makes things, at least in my brain, it makes things very simple, because I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about what anybody else.
Life's not complex.
I don't have to worry about what Tom, John, or Bud down the street said about me, whatever the case may be. I can just focus on what I need to do, who I need to become, and everything else will build and grow from that. So,
Yeah. What a good advice to live a fulfilling life.
yeah.
You could do something super simple, one thing, but if your mindset can shift, you can feel like you're living a huge fulfilling life. You know what this example of is like people who work really hard at something, get a huge house, get that car they want, it's on the beach, uh, whatever, and then are miserable.
Yeah.
It's like you got 95% of the way there. You did it backwards. You should have unlocked your mind first and understood that. And then when you had the ambition to do those things, they would have felt like they should have felt.
Yeah.
Instead, you chased them for the wrong reasons. And now you've made it way harder on yourself to unlock what you needed to unlock in order to give yourself that power. Give
Yeah.
yourself that
And
freedom.
it's just, and it's
What will the 100-mile race do for you when you take care of it this January and you can notch that off?
that's cool, man, because you never know. That's at least
Is that exciting for you?
that's exciting. You never know. You never know. Like, to be honest, like you ask if
How good is it going to feel to be able to, for somebody to say, I ran 100 and you're like, yeah, me too.
yeah, no, it's always nice understanding. For me, what it is that's a big part
Not
of it.
for them. I mean, not for like a club, but just for you to be like, yeah, me too.
Well, no, and that's a huge part of. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, that's a huge reason why I do what I do is because I am drawn to the thought of what's it going to be like if I do this thing.
Yeah.
You know, what is, but like, but it's cool because you never really know. Because like for me, I'm living a life at 27 years old that 5 years ago
You were like
like
completely out of reach.
I mean, not to mention just being on this podcast, somebody wanting to hear my story, but like I've built phenomenal relationships. I got to give a shout out to Lexi Johnson.
Sure.
Lexi Johnson's been one of my best friends, and that relationship that I've built, I've been able to speak at her anniversary event the past 2 years.
Sweet.
You know, she's been somebody who's put me on a platform I've been on. You know, and it's a small thing, but you got to build somewhere. You got to start somewhere. Like I've been able to be on the same programs as speakers of, you know, Ben Newman, Lou Ferrella. My name's been right next to those people, you know, and like that for me. And so you just never know. Like and you know, there's a saying out there of life is what happens to you when you make plans. You know, you just never know what's going to come out of things. So like, I'm going to complete this 100 miles. It's going to be really cool for me as an accomplishment personally, but what I'm most excited for is to see what comes out of it, and so that I can utilize whatever does come out of it to impact other people, which there's a point with that is kind of undefined, I guess.
To build on that, what's one thing you would want people to know or remember about? What's one thing you want people to know or remember about? It doesn't have to be just in this conversation, but like if they're going to leave something today that you could give, what would it be? What would you want them to know or remember? We've hit on some good ones, bro.
I believe that belief in yourself and belief in anything that you want to do is the most powerful
belief.
True, and I mean, I'm talking.
Don't just say it.
Yeah, don't just say it. There's a quote from Ed Milet in his book Power One More where it says, "People don't have to believe in what you say, but people have to believe that you believe what you say."
Yeah,
and like you could think.
What's the best way to get you to believe yourself? What's the best way?
It's through action
and
through concrete proof that I have done this thing. I have done these things, and if you allow it to, it'll bleed into every other thing in your life, like that race that, you know, you and Nikki took part in, you know, and how that, you know, has grown over, you know, time and into other areas. But it's just, to me, First Phorm has 12 core values, you know, and for me personally, belief is the most powerful one, because if you have belief in yourself, it can truly change your life. And and I believe that you go back through my entire story, it all started with belief that I could actually do this.
To bring it back full circle on our end, because this is a like quote unquote construction podcast, supposed to be, or whatever. A guest sat across from you yesterday, and I knew this young man when he first started, and he started seal coating driveways with buckets. And in 5 years, he told me yesterday, I asked him, he has 17 dump trucks. Beyond 4 pavers, 40 employees. I would have never believed that son of a gun 5 years ago if he would told me that was what was going to happen.
Yeah.
There's no way. But now that he's done it, anything that he said yesterday was going to happen in the next 5 years, I believe him.
Yeah. And you learn that, and you learn it through, and
he could have told me he was going to have 17 dump trucks and 4 pavers, Austin. I wouldn't have believed him.
But he had to believe himself, and
that's all
that matters. That it doesn't matter.
It didn't matter what I said.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what other people think of what you say.
But now I believe
you, and you grow that. And it's like, and I've been so fortunate in my life to go every single day and walk into a place that not only has amazing people, but also has amazing leaders. You know, to the standard of Andy Frisello, Sal Frisello, Will Grumpke, these types of individuals. And I've been able to learn from them and grow relationships with them. And something that, for one, Andy always says is, the work's going to come from the work is going to come before the belief. There's going to be a certain point, because for the majority of the time, you haven't given people anything to believe in. So, like, you can't
try getting sponsors for a podcast in the asphalt industry.
You know what I mean? So,
you literally have to do the work and show that before people pay.
There's going to be a lot of quote unquote free work before payment ever comes, and those different things. And then 2, Andy always talks about it, like when he started S2 and supplement superstores. To him, there's still this joke of, the little vitamin shop. His brother used to always tell him, "You think you got this little vitamin shop?" And he was sleeping in the back of the store on the mattress and all these different things. Nobody believed that. But now, there's probably a few people out there.
There's people say, "I always knew he'd make it."
Yeah, people always say that, and then there's probably people now that like, okay, well, he's gotten to this point, but can he really get there? You know, and of course, there's always going to be like, and I'm a true believer that it doesn't matter what you do, and it doesn't matter if you run marathons, if you're in the asphalt industry, hell, if you're trying to cure cancer, there's always going to be somebody curing cancer. I think we can all say is probably one of the most pure missions that you can go on. Like, who would hate that? I guarantee you there's 8 billion people in the world.
Yeah, but
there's going to be somebody out there. So you can't worry about who's going to hate you or who's going to say negative things. You just got to, if you truly believe in in your heart, that what you're doing and what you're pursuing and what you're putting your time and your effort into is pure. You're doing it for the right reasons. And you truly are doing it to make a positive impact on somebody or something, then just follow with it. And the right people will come to pass. And I've seen that in my own journey.
Dude, we could go for hours. I know that. All right. Man, I would just really appreciate you joining us today.
Hey,
and really coming out. I know you were worried whether or not the conversation was going to go as it would go. I believed in you.
Yeah.
Right. So otherwise we wouldn't have came out and did all this. So I really, really appreciate you being here, sharing your experiences, sharing what you've learned in life, and what the future can hold and what the possibilities are.
Yeah.
It's super great. Super happy you're with First Phorm, man, and what it's been able to do for you just to be surrounded in the right environment, the right people. Same with us. They support us. They support me, which is mind-boggling to me, bro, that First Phorm's like, "Hey, Marv, yep, we got you." It's crazy to me. But, man, if we want to follow along with you,
you were going to ask. This is a real-time moment.
Where can we do that? Because I follow you on IG. Like, that's my favorite, but it's you spell it out so that people can be sure they're following the right person or that they get it right.
Yeah. So it's my Instagram. I had to look. So this is a real time moment. It's Austin. So my first name, AUSTIN, _. So __. And then my last name, Monteiro. So MONTEIRO.
There was somebody with Austin _Monteiro already. Or did you just hit the double underscore on accident? Good for you, buddy. Good job.
I got it. So
I like it. That's memorable. Yeah. Dude, it's been great to follow along. We're definitely going to be following along. We totally support you and everything that you do. The world needs more people who figure out what you've figured out. Yeah, because I'm starting to be an old timer. People like, oh, the next generation. You give me some hope that we got some people that are still trying to figure it out. Very cool. As always, if you're curious about First Phorm, you can just simply check out the link in our bio or the link below in the podcast description. And I think you can sign up there. If you spend over $75, they'll ship you whatever you're going to get to for free. I make the mistake of getting on there, clicking, and then all of a sudden looking at something else and looking at something else. Pretty soon I'm up to a couple $100. But so I get to $75 pretty easy, bro, when it gets there. So I really appreciate you joining us, man. It's been fantastic.
Well, hey, man, the feeling is the same. It's like I said, to be able to be in this position that I'm in, God is great all the time.
Yes, sir.
So I appreciate the time. I appreciate the hospitality, and yeah, it's been awesome.
Cool. Well, as always, you can check out more about In the Mix at inthemixmj.com. Sign up for our newsletter there. I write an exclusive article for that newsletter every month. You'll get some words from our sponsors on there. You'll get to see what they're up to as well. And you'll grab the latest podcast episode. You'll get a rundown and a link to check it out from there as well. So very cool to sign up for. And, it comes to your inbox every month. Super easy. If you want to listen to the podcast in other places, we're available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and other places. If you want to watch future versions, we're on YouTube as well. You can check that out at In the Mix MJ, or just type in the Mix Marvin Joels into the YouTube search bar, and you can check us out from there. All right. For myself here in Nashville, and Austin, who's here in Nashville as well. As always, asphalt is opportunity. We'll see you next time. Peace.